What's up guys, Gary Dixon CDTI here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of work on the Vectra. Now rather than telling you what's wrong, I think it's easier to just show you. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do the spray and clean on the windscreen, and you will see straight away. As you can tell there, we only have one wiper blade working. So the reason for this is that the wiper blade has a linkage setup on it with one motor and the two balls and the two linkage arms that make both the wipers move. So one of these, the ball is actually snapped off. So I have here a linkage I prepared earlier, complete with motor. And these are the two linkage arms. That's where your wiper arms connect onto there and there. And then this is the linkage underneath. So what's basically happened to mine is that there is snapped off, so that this isn't going round, which is your passenger one. Your driver's one is going round fine. And that's why we're only getting one wiper, which is lame because I don't know whether you can tell, but only one side of the screen is clean, and when it's raining it's a little bit awkward. So I put up with it for a whole 2 days, and now I've sourced a new wiper motor and linkage. I'm going to fit it on, so I'll take you guys through with me and we can see how it's done. So guys, in terms of tools we're going to be using for today to do the wiper motor and linkage removal and exchange for the Vectra, we're going to be using a ratchet, short extension, 13mm socket, doesn't really matter whether it's deep or a normal socket, an E8 torque bit socket, a knuckle. You don't necessarily need to use the knuckle, I just found it a little bit useful for one of the bolts right by the driver's side. It was tucked underneath the windscreen a little bit, and a flathead screwdriver. They're all the tools you're going to need to do the job. So if you're going to do this job along with me, then let's crack on. Okay, so now we're under the bonnet. The first things we're going to need to do is to get off these little things here, and there's a little groove under there that you can put the screwdriver under to pop it off, like so. Same on the other side. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use a 13mm socket to undo the wiper arms. Wiggle these off. Careful not to lose the washer that comes off as well. Same on this side. Okay. Washer stayed in. Right, now what we're going to do is go ahead and remove this rubber trim, which just lifts up all the way along. We're going to lift up this plastic and slide it from underneath the windscreen. So you have to be able to flex it up enough to get it over the wiper arms. So, starting with one side, just pull it down, lift it up, pop it up on this side here, and then lift it out. It just slides underneath the windscreen, you see? Like so. Now, you don't need to pop it off all the way, just basically up to there, so you've got enough play to access these bolts here. So we've got one torque bit up there, one torque bit there, one torque bit there, a plug, and then lift it out. So now we'll remove the torque bolts. For this you want an E8 torque socket. Which you'll get 3 of these out. So that's one. Two. Bolt number 3. So now it's sitting on a locating peg at the bottom on that side, which you just have to pivot and tilt it out, and then you've got the plug on the motor as well. For the plug, it's just one of those ones that you put the screwdriver underneath, prise the end of the red clip out, and then the plug lifts off then, like so. And then on the driver's side, feed the motor out, and there we have it. And there you can see the problem with mine, the ball's all smashed off on the inside, and it was never going to sit back on that socket there. It sits over it and it won't clip. And that's why we're fitting the new one. Okay, so here we have the new one, which I showed you earlier, which we're now going to feed back in from this end, motor first, connect the plug while it's still loose and easy to get to, and then we're going to slot it back onto the locating pins, which is like that there, and then we're going to bolt it back in, put it back together. Plug on, push the red clip in, so now you know it's definitely clipped on. Then we need to feed this back into place. Good. So there's a locating pin just there, that little rubber one I showed you before. You just have to make sure that that sits on, there's like a stud that just sits up. Just make sure the rubber sits on it, and you'll know when it is because instantly the bolt holes will line up for you to bolt it straight back in. So now we can put the bolts back in. The motor's fine, so I'm just going to keep the old motor because it's always good as a spare one in case this one ever does have problems or burn out or anything. So if you want to make tightening up this end one a little bit easy because it's a bit tight, you can use a knuckle extension. Just makes it a little bit easier to get in and tighten it up. And then nip up the other two bolts. So we just pop this back on. So what this is you can see there's a little indent that runs along the top of the plastic. So what it is in the bottom of the screen, there's essentially that, and this plastic piece has the male bit on it, and you just clip it in. So what you do is you just hold it in the right place, and then you just gently push down. It'll pop in all the way along the bottom of the screen. Now this rubber piece can go back on, sits over the groove. It stays shaped to the car as well even when you take it off, so it's not like you can put it on the wrong way around or anything like that. Right, now we can put the wipers back on. So you want to sit the wipers just slightly above the bottom of the screen. You'll see normally by the dirt line there, that's where the wipers normally sit, so you want to do pretty much the same thing. You want to sit it where the dirt line is, and then you know they're going to be in the right place. Put the washer back on, put the nut back on, and tighten up. I just hold the wiper to stabilise it a bit so it doesn't turn as you're tightening up the nut. Same with the other side. And tighten up. Let's test it first. Make sure the wipers aren't catching or they're not hitting the end of the screen. Make sure it's all good. Stopping in the same place as I set them, perfectly on the dirt lines. So now you can put the caps back on. And that is it. We are done. We now have a fully functioning wiper system once again. Okay, so we're now back in the car where we started. We'll now test the wipers. And we now have two fully functioning wipers. Hope you guys have found the video useful, especially if you've got any wiper problems with the Vectra. Maybe just your motor's gone, maybe your linkage is fine, so you can still use this exact same process, the exact same steps to get the motor and the linkage out. I do believe you can buy the motor separately, But if you don't want to buy it new, you can just go to the scrapyard, get the whole linkage and motor just like I did, and fit it on. It didn't take too long at all, probably 20 minutes. So I hope it was useful. It's been really fun making this video. Nice to work on the Vectra. It was nice to do a bit of like mechanical maintenance, like a common problem that might break. Obviously it was a little bit annoying when it broke, but hopefully you guys will find it useful, and that's what makes it worthwhile to me. I really enjoyed filming it, despite it's really cold. You might be able to tell by my body warmer and my hat. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I'm going to be doing more videos on the Vectra as well. There's a couple of other little issues I want to sort out. So stay tuned. If you guys have got any questions about any issues you've got, if I've had the similar issue, I'll give you any information that I have. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.